We're here with USMNT star Auston Trusty, and we're going to be asking him the ultimate question. What really is the difference between MLS and European clubs? What was it like growing up as a player in the Philadelphia Union Academy? And I think this goes for a lot of kids, nowadays. They're looking at the Philadelphia Union Academy that it is now. They're seeing the school develop. They're seeing 4 or 5 world-class pitches. They're playing games against the Philadelphia Union Academy, seeing guys like Jameer Johnson, Kevin Sullivan, and these guys are prospects that European clubs are looking at from the age of 15, 16. But Auston, it wasn't like that for us. So tell us a little bit about what that experience was like 7 years before these guys came out.
Yeah, it wasn't the Philadelphia Union. It wasn't really a thing. There was a thing called Union Juniors. So I can kind of give like a little bit of my backstory. So I was I also had Boy Scouts. I was a Boy Scout. And one of my Boy Scouts played soccer, and he said, there's a Philadelphia Union coming? I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about that. They're actually doing a thing for the academy. Like, they're making an academy in a couple years, but there's a thing called Union Juniors. So every Tuesday, you can get free training by a guy named Phil Karn and Ian Monroe, who are like these like world-class soccer coaches. I was like, shoot, let me try out for that. So I tried out for it, made the training squad in a sense. So it was the best players around the area. So I did that for a couple of years, and then they started the academy system, and they already kind of made their tryout list. I wasn't on a tryout list, so I remember the last day of Union Juniors, they said, okay guys, last drill, just want to say bye before the last drill. Everyone's going to do their own thing, go their own ways. Just want to make sure I say bye. Thank you for the past 2 years. We really appreciate it. Wish you guys the best in all your endeavors in the future playing soccer. Great. If not, good luck. And I remember thinking, okay, cool. But it was the last little drill. It was like a 3-on-3, 4-on-4 game for like 5 minutes. And I remember just being like, you know what? I'm just going to go so hard. So I was doing my thing and playing my game. And one of the U18 coaches, as I was leaving the door, so YSC was kind of like, I don't want to explain, but basically you leave the door, you walk out like any other place. As I was leaving the door, this guy taps me on the shoulder like a movie. And I'll tell you, I was 2 steps away from walking out the door. If I walked out of there, I probably would have maybe played high school soccer, maybe that's it, and maybe stopped. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, do you want to try out? And I remember, like literally today, I have the chills even saying this. Like, I remember that feeling of being like, what? Like you want, like I felt seen. Like, you want me to try out for the academy? And he's like, yeah. He said, come tomorrow, come whenever it was. I was like, all right, I'll come. So I ended up trying for the academy, and I actually made the team. That's so I remember, like, in the Philadelphia Union, there's a new team coming in. You get free tickets to the games. We were I remember, like, putting on the Union shirt. I'm like, holy crap! Like, I felt like a knight in shining armor. And we got free Adidas boots. So I was just on such a high. So I made the team, and then that year, as I was saying before, didn't play barely even in a minute. And later that year, they had a cut list and a keep list in the coach's room. And apparently what I was told is that I was on the cut list. Because again, granted, I played like 0 games, except for the one Raheem, and I cut Raheem.
All right. Lucky I gave you a job.
So there was a cut list and keep list, and apparently the story's been told that I was on the cut list, and Ian Monroe, who's a Scottish legend, played for Rangers over here. He actually lives like 20 minutes away from me. He went in the room. He's like an OG of like YSC, like wasn't part of the academy, just like, again, he was like an OG coach, like can't say nothing to him. Went in the room and said, oh, what are you guys doing here? And he was like, oh, yeah, we're doing the who's staying, who's not going, who's going. And he saw my name on the cut list. And he went up there with no permission, no nothing, grabbed my name and put it on the keep list and said, you're not cutting him. And so without him doing that, again, because you signed you're in the academy, you're on the high, but you play no minutes. And you're at such a high to such an extreme low. So if I was on that cut list, I probably would have stopped playing soccer.
Have you talked to him about that?
I've actually never one-on-one talked to him about it. I've only heard, and again, I'm really close to him. I really should, but I don't know. I really should have a sit-down conversation. But why'd you do that? Like, what'd you see? So yeah, he saved my academy career. And then next year, I was the captain of the U16 team. So I went from literally 0 to 100. I was captain of the U16 team, played every single minute, every single game, got on the national team, and I started for the U17 World Cup against Nigeria.
Played against Victor Osimhen your first match.
Yeah. So I went from literally 0 to not playing, not even being looked at, to almost being cut in the academy, to the very next year being one of the leaders in the U17 World Cup team.
What about that European move, man? Because like that's a culture thing. Distance, right? Like family, all that stuff. What's that like? Not
to mention too as well, Trusty, like when it happened, like people were like Arsenal, like Auston Trusty to Arsenal, like people kind of had eyebrows raised at it. You know what I'm saying? How did that make you feel in that process? As to add to Tom's question.
With that, I don't really care. I mean, if people don't notice or people don't appreciate what you're doing, the ones who actually know what they're talking about, know what they're doing, they appreciate it. If someone who's Joe Schmo down the street doesn't appreciate or doesn't recognize what I've done in MLS, what I was doing at the time in Colorado, like, I don't really care as long as the people who I'm actually trying to go to, I'm doing what they want to see, you know? So to have Arsenal come in and then go on loan to Birmingham City, and then Birmingham City want me out of all the teams and whatever, and be wanted by all these people, it's because they see certain things, and I'm doing that. So I don't really care about Joe Schmo talk, like, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. But yeah, the transition, the dream always was to go overseas. Like I said before, going overseas was not even the reality. But I always thought, like, if I go overseas, like, I will feel so fulfilled of, like, achieving my dream. It didn't matter where it was. It could be in Syria. It could be wherever it was. As long as it was overseas, I was good. And I got blessed enough, obviously, for one of the best teams in the entire world to notice me and want me on their squad and give me an opportunity. At the time in Colorado, I turned down a really big contract to re-sign it. And I decided not to do that because a lot of guys would probably sign that contract that was offered to me. And I said no. And I remember the GM Pork, I still really close with Colorado. I remember he was just so shocked that I turned down that deal and that money because my dream is bigger than that. I've always just been so fixated on achieving my goals because it's kind of been the spark of how I was treated and how I was like, I never want to be overlooked. I want to achieve my goals, and I know my ability. I know what I can achieve, and I'm going to go achieve it. And so yeah, I've turned down all that money, and I was actually on less money at Arsenal than I would have been there. And
which that's actually interesting because a lot of people don't know that, bro. Like, sometimes the MLS salaries could be higher than the ones that you get, than the deals that you get in Europe, because for American players, it's tougher for us overseas.
Well, they're giving you a shot. I mean, that's just how it works. And the deal that I turned down in Colorado, like, I mean, at that time, a European club at that situation probably weren't going to pay that. So yeah, I believed in myself, I believed in my ability, and then I knew I'd go right on loan and have to earn my way, and went straight to Birmingham, and I was Player of the Year. And I think I shocked a lot of, I didn't shock myself, but I think a lot of people who maybe you were talking about before, maybe like, oh, who's this guy? They realized, like, oh shoot, this kid's actually like really good. And I went back in the next year with Arsenal and was with the guys and in that preseason and showed them what I can do. And then I was boys with all the guys since then.
Was it always just Arsenal? Like, were there, if you don't mind me asking, man, were there like other offers, other clubs? I know you said you wouldn't mind playing like wherever the hell.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, there was I'm not gonna name names, but yeah, there was at the time in Colorado, I was doing really, really well, and I had a lot of interest. And again, you see stuff from guys and stuff. I didn't promote it. My agent's not leaking it to the press, not doing anything. I didn't want anything to happen. I wanted to actually go there and do my thing and get the ability to go. So not leaking to the press, not doing anything like that. So yeah, there was multiple clubs interested. And then once Arsenal came to the mix, get everything out the way.
Once Arsenal come, that's it, bro.
Make that happen. So yeah, then we're full focus on Arsenal, and then ended up signing, and then started my career. Then went from Sheffield, I did the Birmingham to Sheffield to play in the Premier League, and then now got the opportunity to play in the Champions League last year, and now we're in the Europa League. I mean, we unfortunately had the loss to get out of the Champions League, but played Premier League and Champions League, which are right behind me.
Insane,
yeah, that's
man.
insane.
And obviously, you've been in these incredible locker rooms. You know, you've been in Arsenal, you've been in Birmingham City, you've been at Sheffield, you've been at Celtic, all differing degrees of success, all teams trying to, chase different objectives throughout the season. What were the biggest cultural differences that you saw at like a club let's say, for example, like an Arsenal or Celtic, who are like really aiming to win the league, trying to compete for titles consistently, and a club like Birmingham or Sheffield, where it's like, okay, you might be at like an elevator club, you might be in the champ, you might be in the Premier League, but the goal is ultimately not always winning the top tier titles?
It's more it's the mindset, and I guess the culture around it. I think going to Birmingham, in a sense, they almost relegated the year before. So in the sense, the mindset was, and really stay up. They were trying to stay up. Now with Birmingham City and Tom Wagner there and Tom Brady, they're trying to get promoted. So it's a different culture, different mindset. And then going to Arsenal, it's a whole different vibe, whole different aura. Guys know that they're good. Guys know that the team is good. The mindset isn't losing. The mindset is, if we don't win the Premier League, then we failed, in a sense, failed for the season. This is a whole different shift of trying to stay alive versus trying to win. And going to Sheffield, it's trying not to get relegated, in a sense. That's not my mindset, but I'm seeing, when you're looking around, seeing the vibe, how guys react in certain situations, it really, it's kind of triggering. And then going to Celtic and coming to a team of this caliber and a historic club like this, the mindset is only winning. If you don't win 3-0 or 5-0 or 6-0 in these league games, in a sense, it's like a loss. So that's just the difference of being so tuned in and so obsessed and only accepting and only really internalizing winning. That's the locker rooms that I've really thrived in, and that's the ones you kind of be in. So yeah, that's the difference between the two.
What's it like, man, playing in the Champions League? Like, how can you explain that? And do you maybe put that in a perspective from a kid who was, you were saying, oh, I was almost cut. Like, do you know what I mean? Did that feel like a seminal moment? And then, bro, that big game against Bayern Munich, like, dude, that was crazy.
I've gone into every game. I think after the fact, you really have like a pinch me, oh snap, that really just happened. But I think before the game and as it's happening, I have never, in a sense, because of my upbringing and how my story is, I've never really needed external validation to know how good I am and what I can do. And I know that if I'm on my game, I'm doing my thing, I can hold anybody. So when I'm playing these games, that's the mindset I come with. I'm not coming from it with like, oh my gosh, like I'm playing these teams. I'm coming from like, oh shoot, this is my time. I've been waiting for this moment, and I'm going to take full advantage of it. So that's kind of the mindset I've been. And then after the fact, I'm like, oh my dude, I'm just like, I'm playing the Champions League, or like I've played 32 games in the Premier League, and I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. So I think after the fact, I realized it because I'm talking to like Mahim and a couple of my friends and my family, being like, dude, you realize like that just happened? I'm like, oh yeah, dude, that actually did just happen. But I don't know, I've just been so tuned in, so fixated on achieving my goals and achieving what I want to achieve. And that's, again, I think that mindset's allowed me to, one, come for where I come, but also to still succeed and excel in these situations that I've been put in, and I will continue to be put in.
Trusty, what do you think was harder for you? Do you think it was harder to be at a club where the expectations are really high, to win titles, to win trophies, to win consistently? Or is it harder to be on a side where like relegation is a real possibility? You have, basically the livelihood of a city on your back on the results of someone getting relegated. Which one do you think was harder on you in your career?
That's actually a really good question, because people think winning is easy. Winning is not easy. And obviously losing is not, you don't want to lose either. But so when you're in that kind of relegation situation where the team is on the lower spectrum of the league, it gets very, very intense, and it can quickly get toxic. And people start turning on each other, and it's an interesting environment to be in. And with Birmingham, like, that was a situation we're in. I was thriving because I was there doing my thing, and I achieved my goals. So I knew in every single game I thought we were winning. And we ended up coming like 18th, and we stayed out from relegation. But I've never been in the mindset of like, oh, this is a relegation team. Like I thought we're in Sheffield. I thought we were going to win the Premier League. That was my mindset. And I think you need to have that mindset. You can't just go in the game thinking you're going to lose. The winning side of things, say with like Arsenal and coming to Celtic, people think winning is so easy, and it's not. It's really, really hard. When you're excelling through football, you get really good. Once your skill set's a certain level, the key thing is mentally being switched on. So when you get to that, in a sense, that level of being so tuned in, and it's like a high frequency of like you're zoned into your sport, into like your mindset, your skill set, and how you're seeing things. You got to learn very quickly how to stay in that frequency. Make sure it's always turned on. When you step away from the pitch, it's really hard to like get out of that mindset. You can ask my wife. That's the hardest thing. Is staying at that frequency of really excellence, because you can't afford not to be excellent, especially in my position. If you mess up, like that's it, So yeah, it's different mindsets.
And from that form that you've had on club level, you were able to take it into the national team now, and you're playing on the national team. You're getting called up by both Gregg Berhalter and Mauricio Pochettino. What are the biggest differences in camp between the two managers now that you've been a part of both cycles?
Yeah, Gregg called me up. He didn't call me up when the times I wanted to, obviously with Copa America and World Cup, and that was obviously very, very upsetting. And me and him have had conversations, so I won't talk about that. But Mauricio, it's actually really good. I think it's really fresh having a new face come in, and to have a guy of his caliber as a coach, it's he's coached Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, all those guys to. He has the backing of every single player. I think to have a coach of that caliber, you can't say nothing to him. You can't say anything. He knows. He's been done that, and you have to respect that. And I think that's the biggest thing. And he has like an aura around him where we all look up to him. And I think that's what you want as a national coach.
One other question about that. What's it like playing for the national team? That's got to be so generic, but like you put that jersey on. I mean, Raheem's faking it right now, but like, what's it like?
It's the best feeling in the entire world. It's I remember when I made my debut, I felt, again, putting the shirt on and feeling like it's like shining armor. That's what it feels like. And that feeling never goes away. And that's why I will do anything possible to be on that team, be a player of that magnitude for the team, and be there, be the guy for the US. And I know I can do it. I know my ability. I've shown it. And it's just about getting the opportunities, and when I get the opportunity to thrive in it. And I know when I get the opportunity that it's game over. So
how has it been for you, Trust, as well? Because you're competing with friends for these positions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not just like, you're playing on the US men's national team. You don't know anybody on the team. Like, everybody on that team, we know each other. We're all 98s, 99s. We grew up together, from Mark McKenzie to Christian Pulisic to Weston McKennie to Tyler Adams. We all grew up with each other. We developed with each other. We trained with each other from the age of 15 till now as a grown adult. You're still competing with these guys to get a spot. How do you kind of get that mentality where it's like, yo, I know these are my homies, but like, I got to get my spot, bro. Like, the World Cup is next year. Like, what kind of mindset are you going to be putting on if you get called into that next camp? And what is it like competing against friends for these spots?
I don't view it as competing against friends. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't make the decision. The coach makes the decision, and the staff. So it's about proving to them of what your ability is and what you can do and how you can affect the team in a positive way. And also proving to the fans that, hey, I'm here too, and I can be this person for the team. So I don't really view it as competing against friends or whoever it is. It's not really like that's happened. Yes, it is a situation in a sense, but we don't make the decisions. You just gotta show up there and prove yourself, really.
And then how do you put yourself in that mindset to really compete and really be like, okay, I want to be on this World Cup squad next year? What do you think are the things that you have to improve on and do in order to be there?
Really, it's to get called in. I think it was unfortunate. I tore my plantar fascia just coming back a couple of days ago. So yeah, that kind of ruined some momentum, but it's about getting back into momentum and showing them that, hey, I'm here as well. I'm performing at an extremely high level. Look at all my stats. Look at all the people I'm defending in the Champions League, and now we're in the Europa League. And then game-wise and league-wise, I'm performing. My passes, my accuracy, look at all my stats. And when you get the opportunity to get called up, it's about performing in there. And once you get the opportunity outside of training to play in the games, it's about not giving any excuse, giving anything, and really set in stone why I should be in anybody who's playing should be starting. And that's just the mindset of a professional footballer, and anybody competing for spots, competing for such a obviously historic tournament, playing the World Cup in the United States. That's a prized possession of any American, So I think we're all coming with that mindset.
Real quick, as a follow-up to that, mate, you've seen, like, with Pochettino, when he's brought, like, some of his guys in, they've, like, performed and they've stayed in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think of a Diego Luna, for example, like, that kind of, like, those lads, when they've come into the team and performed. Do you kind of, like, I guess, take heart or, like, be encouraged from that mindset? Like, you've seen that's maybe the attitude from the coach? Yeah,
I think with any coach, and especially Mauricio, it's about performing. So if guys are getting called in and taking their shot and performing, that's the name of the game. That's why we do what we do, So for guys who's called in to take the shot and do well, that's what you can wish for.
For sure. Do you think? I feel like obviously you have to do what you got to do within the camp, like you said. But obviously at the end of the day, it is up to the manager. It's the manager's decision. Do you think that as a manager, do you think the players have more of a fair chance under Pochettino than Gregg Berhalter to make that squad in terms of like, listen, there's not as many favorites. There could be some new players coming in, fresh faces that come and shake things up.
Mauricio, he's letting people have a shot and letting new faces come in, and he is, that's what you want. If you're a player on the outside who wasn't necessarily the one's getting called in every single camp, no matter what, and he's letting opportunity to happen for other guys to come in. That's what you want, and I think Mauricio's doing that.
Just to wrap it up, then, the cheesy question: what's one piece of advice you'd give to the next generation, man?
Again, this is probably cliche, but really is back yourself. The only person who really is going to back you is yourself. And how you do that is you got to show yourself in every opportunity, every single moment you possibly get to show yourself that, you know what, I think I can do this. Then from the thing that like, I know I can do this, you know? So at the end of the day, you need to completely back yourself and trust your instincts and trust your capabilities and all your skill set, because at the end of the day, it has to start with you. And then if you believe in yourself and trust in your ability, it's going to resonate with everybody else. But if you don't do it, why would someone think that about you?